Something down. I mean, we Facebook friends. You could have done a little bit better. Give it up to the band. They have the best seat in the house. Enjoy that back there. Let's have a good time with that back there. I really want to congratulate Rod on having an idea, you know what I'm saying, and doing something. So y'all get for real. I mean it. We're gonna give it up to Rod's wife. It's hard to support somebody with a dream. I know. I ain't got nobody, but I would assume it'd be hard for me to support him. Dream? Why would you do that? What is that about? No, for real, I think of like, you know, everybody loves Barack Obama, but really think about Michelle, right? This man ain't no black person close to being black ever been president. He wake up one day and say, baby, think about running for president. And she said, okay, boo, let's try it out, you know? Y'all know, most of us, if our man said, I'm thinking about running for president, it's like, why don't you just run in there and run the bathwater? Run out there and take out the trash. Like, you know, that's some change I can believe in. President? I don't know. So I'm saying, support your man. That's hard to do sometimes. I'm joking. I could support my man if I could just get one, you know? Whatever he wanted to do, I'd be like, yes, boo, you coming back though? Okay, yes. Do that. I do live here now. I moved here from Birmingham, and I was doing a show downtown Atlanta, and I had this great show, and people wanted to meet me after the show and talking to me, and I was so excited. And this one guy, you know, it was like my first groupie experience, I thought, you know? And he was like, wow, you know, like you say, you just moved here? And I was like, yeah. He was like, where are you from? I said, I moved here from Birmingham. He's like, wow, you really single? I'm like, I know, right? Crazy. Yes, I'm really single. He said with a straight face, he was like, wow, because you're like gorgeous for Birmingham. So I didn't know if that was about me or my whole city. So that's how it goes sometimes. I'm used to it. Wait, Deacon, you talking through my show?
No, I'm from Birmingham, that's all.
Are you from Birmingham?
Yeah, man.
I know it's somebody else from Birmingham. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Huntsville? That still counts. It's still the same. Okay. Oh, y'all from Alabama? Okay, can we do this after the show down? Okay. Yeah, we'll do that later. This isn't the seminar portion of the show just yet. He mentioned my name. My name is Eunice. I met someone that works here. She's like, my mama named Eunice. I was like, okay, you know. Anyway. That's cool. Because my grandma's name is Eunice, so you know, it is what it is. I actually, it's not that funny. I'm saying that's my real name. So I gotta leave out of here with the name and, you know, feel okay about it. But no, I was named after my grandma, and you know, it was hard, you know, being a 8-year-old Eunice. Trying to explain that on the playground. You know, you start getting a little bit older, you know, junior high, high school, you start liking boys, you know, and my friends had really cute, sexy names like Lisa and Kim and Tarantula. I was so jealous. And they would get notes from the boys that say, you know, do you like me, yes or no, you know? And I would get notes that said, what in the world is a Eunice? So, still working through that. When I first started performing, everybody told me I need to come up with something better than Eunice, you know? I actually had somebody ask me one time, he was like, is that a stage name? I'm like, I would make that up? Like, no. I mean, if I survived as an 8-year-old Eunice, I might as well just ride this thing on out now to see what happens. And so far my plan is working, because when y'all go home, y'all go Google Eunice, right? And I'm gonna be like the hottest one to come up, because the rest of them died like 1943. Not that many left. So, go by one name now. So. Madonna, Beyonce, Oprah, Eunice. And you'll tell somebody you saw her here at the Public Access Theater of Decatur. But it's not.
We live? Yeah. Strick City. Woo! Strick City. All over the world.
City, man, we live. Yo, Strick City on the ride. Yo, look like surprise. Yo, taking your city like we live. Yo, man, we live. Yo, taking your city like surprise. Yo, on the ride. Yo, Strick City coming live. Yo.
Hey man, we are live. You know what you got, your boy Strick right here. It's Strick City Live, and we have a show for you. But if you're watching this right now, I got some stuff on the screen that I want to go through and talk about. So I'm going to start the show off with a couple of the things that you see on the screen. The first thing you see on the screen, other than my name, of course, is Urban Ham. If you want to know everything that's going on in Birmingham, like everything that's really happening in the city, urbanham.com is your spot. They are a media partner with Strick City, so I want to shout them out. Big shouts out to my man Russ and everything they're doing over at Urban Ham. And I have www.pifashionstore.com. Like, what would that be? Of course, you know Strick has all of the latest fashions, right? I don't, but I do have some stuff from PI Fashions, and I'm going to sport my T-shirt today that I got from them. See that? Huh? That's pretty cool, right? Well, they sent me some mail. I have some more shirts from them, so I'm going to go show you some stuff, all right? I'm going to open this one up. So this is another one of the shirts that they sent me. Like, I'm not saying anything about people sending me T-shirts. Like, I'm not telling you to send me stuff. But if you send me stuff, you your boy Strick, I support. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna wear it if they fit right. You know what I'm saying? So that's your shirt. That's one of them. And then there's another one. So I need to do like a whole lot more mail opening on the show. And the only way I can do more mail opening is to have more mail. So if you got some stuff, you are a designer, and you're like, Strick, man, my stuff would look real good on you, I need to have it. There you go. Is that it? Can you see that? So definitely big shouts out to Paradise Island Fashion. You can go to pifashionstore.com to pick up one of these nice shirts. And it's not just a T-shirt store. So ladies, they have a lot of designs for you, and that's designs with an S on it, okay? So check them out, PI Fashions. Without further ado, I gotta bring her on because she always helps me out with the news and the rules for the show. So without further ado, Alo, are you ready?
Of course I'm ready, Strick. The question is Strick City ready? We have another great and wonderful show tonight, and as usual, I am very, very excited.
That's what's up. What's up to all the black and white you got going on over there?
Look, I was being lazy. I'm running out of clothes to wear to do this. I ain't feel like laying my edges down. So y'all just got half a face of makeup.
That's funny.
You know, because after this, I be going to get in the bed. So I'm halfway there. Okay, I'm halfway there.
I took the time to lay my edges down. Hey, at least you could have, brushed them and put the little black grease on the side, and everybody wouldn't have known a thing.
What you know about the black grease?
Listen,
Nobody uses that no.
Listen, they don't use that anymore? Like, what are y'all using?
We got edge control, edge booster. You know, you need that thick stuff because our edges in this summertime heat don't be working right with that gel. They get your it turn your hair too hard, and then it gets that black crusty stuff on the side. So y'all don't use the black stuff no more.
Don't use that. I didn't know. Nobody told me.
Yeah, so next time you want to slick your eyebrows down, I need you to get some edge booster. Edge booster.
You know, I don't have to touch them at all. Like it is what it is. They don't move.
They are perfect, Strick. I love the
so very much.
They're perfect for you. perfect for you. But yes, we have an excellent show tonight. I am super excited about our guest tonight. I know she's gonna bring the funny, she's gonna bring the smart, she's gonna bring the sass, she's gonna definitely bring the beauty. And I'm excited about our show, but we need your help. So this is what we need you guys to do. Share this video. Go ahead. It's very simple. There's a little button at the bottom of the screen that says share with a little arrow on it. Press that button, press share, and in the comments where we can see them, only if you want a blessing, drop your Cash App. And one lucky winner who has shared this video tonight will receive a little blessing in your Cash App. But you have to post the Cash App to where Strick or myself can see it so you can get the blessing. So y'all share this video and get this money, okay?
I mean, it's really that simple. And the reason why we tell people to share is not because we want everybody to see this for us. It's definitely not for me, but I got a guest tonight.
Yes.
I promise you, you've already seen before, but we're going to get up close and personal with this young lady about what she's doing right now, and I'm super excited about it. And I want you and all your friends to be able to see it as well. So it's really simple. Just share it, put your Cash App inside of the comments, and before we leave tonight, somebody will be the winner.
Yes, but we have to be able to see it. So shouts out to everybody that's already in the room. Shouts out to Doug Henson. Shouts out to Anthony D. Sparks. What's up, bruh? Shouts out to BJ. Shouts out to Ronnie Pilgrim. Shouts out to my Sora, Ada. Shouts out to Matt McCants, my wonderful husband. Hey, baby, I love you. Shouts out
Can
to...
I say hey, baby, to him too? Is that possible?
I mean, I guess you could. I can't stop you, but
Okay, I'm not going. Keep going. Hey, I'm not going to do that. Hey, Matt, what's up, brother?
thank you. Shouts out to Mr. Sam Calhoun, Andromeda Rose. Hey, sis, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And y'all make sure y'all share this video for me and anybody else that I missed. Mr. Rashad Slaughter, Miss Nikki, Miss Evelyn, Mr. Herbert. Y'all, we appreciate y'all for hanging out with Strick City tonight. Y'all continue to share this video. Share, share, share.
Hey, I think we're ready to introduce our guest today. I'm really excited about this young lady. I super duper love people that are talented, and this young lady has a huge amount of talent, and she has actually, right in front of our eyes, shown us the talent, you know, from being a comedian to, like, I could never do what she did. Like, I don't know how she did it, but it shows the level of talent to actually becoming a anchor right here in the city of Birmingham of a news station. That is huge. If you don't know, like, people really, you know, they buy for those spots, and once they get them, they don't give them up. But there's a certain amount of talent that you have to do it. And, you know, I don't read that well, so I can never do it. But she did an excellent job with it and is moving forward with some other endeavors. And we're going to get a chance to talk about that tonight. But I know you have a much better intro prepared than I just did.
Yeah, I'm just very proud of you for admitting that you can't read well. That took a lot.
No. Listen. I can read well. I just don't do well with reading teleprompters and being in front of people. Like, I don't do that at all.
Okay. Well, we know what you meant.
Okay, cool.
You set yourself up for that one.
I guess I did.
Tonight, we have more than just a news anchor. She is a comedian, an author, an actress, an MC. She is a speaker, a podcast host, a news anchor. We already said that, though. She's a dog mommy and a plants mommy, and she's right here from Bessemer, Alabama, okay? And she's a graduate of the University of Alabama, Rose Tide, okay? And she majored in journalism, and she has a minor in theater. I am a theater major, so we're fellow thespians, not lesbians, thespians.
Say it right, girl.
Right, gotta say it right, okay? But yes, and she started off as a traffic reporter for NBC and then worked her way all the way up to being a news anchor. But recently she left the news broadcast so that she can pursue her entrepreneurship and her life coachship stuff. And I cannot wait to talk to this beautiful lady. Y'all give it up for Miss Eunice Elliott.
There she is.
Thank you. This is so cool to watch you guys do your thing. I'm like, this is cool. Thanks for having me.
No, it is cool that you're willing to take the time to kind of hang out with us. Me and Alo do this all the time, but to now do it with you, oh my goodness. You know, I want to
Yes.
be sure that I press all the buttons and say all of the right things so I don't get in the way, you know?
Okay. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, if I got one person that believes in me tonight, that's all I need. Again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited to, I had to set an alarm to wake up, to be awake, to be able to.
Well, you're setting the alarm to be awake, to wake up, to be on this show is a blessing to all of us. I want everybody to know from my audience who you are. People have seen you, but what I want them to know is what you're doing right now. So Adrian, Alo has already kind of gave the people kind of what you have done in the past. I was very shocked to see, as we did our research, not only were you doing some of the traffic, but the news station actually used you seasonally to come on as, I don't know, an actress for different parts of their seasonal work. Like if there was a Valentine's show you were on, I think it may have been you were doing On the Streets at one time, interviewing people with the news station. Like, how did you actually start with the local television station?
Okay. Yeah, I see you've been on YouTube today.
I have.
I was on YouTube today. I was attending YouTube University trying to put up a ceiling fan. But so the things that you would see on YouTube of me being like on the street or doing the Valentine's Day, I was strictly a comedian, and I would pitch myself to the news station and say, hey, it'd be fun if I would come and do this kind of funny thing. At that time, they had a midday show that wasn't strictly news. And so because I had done a few segments with them for that, I was on their mind when they did start thinking about adding a traffic reporter. So that's why I was on their mind when they decided to add a position to the morning show.
Listen, that stuff was really, really good. Even some of the banter that you had with one of the anchors, I think is super cool. And if people don't understand how to get into the business, sometimes you have to give away some of your work for them to understand what kind of talent you are. So you actually do that for a while, and they ask you to do traffic. How long did you do traffic before you started doing other things?
I was a traffic, again, all the behind the scenes, but one of the things like what you just said about giving your talent away in order to get paid for it is also, it's very important to cultivate a personality, because a lot of times when I talk to students who are majoring in journalism or communications, anybody can get a degree, but not everybody can hold an audience's attention. And so you really want to be well-read and not be the wallflower. You got to really be comfortable being authentic. And I think authenticity is what is really starting to rule media now. It used to be the Walter Cronkite's, and, you didn't know anything about the person. But
Right.
now look at somebody like a Michael Strahan, who everybody wants and has 1,000 jobs. It's because you feel like he's your friend. He
Right.
himself. But I did traffic for a year and a half. After a year and a half, I was offered a job somewhere else, not TV, but it was writing and producing, and that's what I wanted to do. So I went and gave my notice to Channel 13, and they were like, well, no, wait, you're supposed to be on TV. And I was like, I believe that, but I would rather take a step back from TV in order to do more of what I would like creatively.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have an agent at that time. The Channel 13, it was a Wednesday. Channel 13 said, okay, give us till Friday to make you an offer. And I wasn't trying to get an offer. I was just coming to say I'm leaving. I had already signed an offer letter for the other people. And that exact same day, another local station called and asked me where was I in my process. And I was like, actually, might be making a change. I met with them the next day. The same day, I got an email from a station in Nashville asking me about where I was in my contract.
Wow.
And I took that I was supposed to be on TV because I didn't have an agent. I didn't have a contract. Nobody knew this was going on. And I decided to stay at 13 at the moment that I decided to stay on TV. And then one day they figured out I could read, and I got promoted to anchor.
Because that is a skill. I was talking about that, right? Is that not a difficult skill?
I think it could be. I have a journalism degree. I just never really pursued journalism after doing internships in college. I didn't like reporting bad news. And so when they added me to the show to do traffic, it was like, you're adding personality and it's kind of lightweight. And when they started wanting me to do the news, I was really hesitant because I was like, I don't want to talk about all the worst things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, and it happens to a lot of us, when you're good at something and you start getting rewarded for being good at something, sometimes you forget that you don't want to do it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I kind of was there. I was there for 6.5 years. And it just got to the point where the more that I was doing the news and was known for that, I was able to do the creative things I really actually wanted to do. And so I just had to make the choice to leave the news desk and that security to just be able to do what I wanted to do.
Yes. So how did you know? I mean, you're a comedian, and I think you said the comedy started before the news anchoring, right? Okay. So how did you know you were funny, and what made you want to get into comedy?
I never knew I was funny until maybe high school, but my entire family is funny. And we would play these games. I have two brothers and a sister, and we play these games called I Bet You Can't Make Me Laugh. And we would just sit in the living room and do things to try to entertain each other. We would put on shows for my mom. We had a lazy boy recliner that if you had everybody's attention and you were talking and it wasn't funny, you had to take the rap. It was like we would actually get in this recliner and like shoot invisible pellets at you for not being funny. So I didn't know that wasn't normal. And I just thought everybody just was funny at their house. And I got voted class clown my senior year in high school, and I was grossly offended. Because like most likely to succeed or cutest girl or something, but I was like class count. So I never knew that people thought I was funny until then, and I did not receive it well. So fast forward to me always loving to watch comedy and going to shows, but I would drive my friends crazy because on the way home from the shows, I would rewrite the jokes. And I would say, remember when he said this? If he had said this, that would have been funnier. And I just started going to comedy clubs, and I started thinking I wanted to be a writer for other comedians. And then I was like, well, how anybody know that I'm funny if I don't just go on stage? Now, keep in mind, at this point, I had been a publicist for professional athletes and had a really nice career in sports and entertainment. And I just started going to open mics and just started showing up. And it just kind of went from there. So that's been about 11 years ago.
Wow.
That is super cool.
But it's comedy is the easiest thing I've ever done.
Because
the
it's
easiest?
natural.
Yeah. Because think about it. Anything I say on stage, I've already said it for free to my friends and family, and they were like not a great audience. So having a bunch of strangers who have never heard about that time when I was 12, it's a dream.
That's funny.
Yeah. But comedy, you can't be wrong, right? So it's whatever I say it is. I would never do math on stage. I could be wrong. But comedy, even if I thought the joke was supposed to be the chicken crossed the road and I said the cow crossed the road, they don't know that. I'm there to tell them what's funny. So as long as I'm confident in it, in the delivery, it's funny because I said so.
I like that.
And it's not things that really is just that because you said so, other than being a parent, and I don't have any kids. So comedy.
Listen, I say that all the time, like even when I change people's names because I mispronounce it. Listen, I pronounced it that way. That's now your name. So listen, when you're a comedian, like one of the things that makes the comedy or the story funny is your confidence in telling it. Like how are you able to give that confidence from yourself all the time? Even with one of the things that I showed in the video that we started with as far as your singleness, like you're constant, that's part of what you give of who you are. Like how do you exude that confidence all the time, even with a subject like that?
Well, I'm chronically single, but for the record, I actually have a boyfriend now.
That's what's up. No, hold up. I want before you go anymore. Like, I didn't know, not that I have to know.
Nobody does know. Nobody knows.
So this is like hot, like TMZ information, like right now.
This is new news for everybody. Nobody knows that. Yeah.
Listen, hey, you can do it. Hey, Lo, you can do it. Just write in the comments, like Eunice Elliott has a boyfriend. Just write it in the comments so everybody can see that for the night. We are now releasing hot off the press information. Like now you're gonna have to write new stories, like boyfriend stories. Like he did this. Like
I'm still single. You know, I'm not married.
I understand.
And I've been single the majority of my life, and so that's so much of my brand and my authentic self. And so even in having a boyfriend, I've talked about him on stage. He's been in the audience when I've told the story about him on stage, but he was actually my boyfriend 17 years ago. And he's been trying to get me back for 17 years, and I never had any interest in getting back with him. And then we got a global pandemic, and I said, "Oh, okay, cool. What's up?"
What they call that, quarantine, bae?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I broke up with him, and like I was 28, I don't have to take this. I can do better than this, whatever. And then you fast forward to 45, and you see him. You're like, you know what? This might actually be the best I can do.
Hey, did you just say you're 45?
Yeah, I'm 45. Yeah.
What? Girl,
What?
Go ahead, sis. I see you.
Thank you.
So
I'm still single though. I still have the podcast where I talk about relationships and dating, and it's still funny. It's still a lot of new material to come from this, for sure.
Please tell us about this podcast. I had a chance to watch a little bit of it, and I'm telling you, I was dying laughing. Not that y'all were trying to be funny, but just the whole concept to me, two single women, like you were really on it that day. Y'all go find the men. Where are they at? Go find them. Bring them to the show. Like the
podcast. We're in our second season. It launched last February 14th, 2019. And the way it came about is I had a boyfriend back then, but he broke up with me via text message while I was on the air doing the news.
Wow.
Exactly. And so I wrote this email to him. Like I always kind of do like an exit interview. Okay, well, first of all, so I wrote this email, and I took 3 days to write the email because I didn't want to. It's nothing worse than writing a kick rocks email and then thinking of something else you wanted to say or finding a typo. So I took 3 days to marinate on this piece of work. And then after the third day, I had no interest in even sending it to him. Mm-hmm. And I read it to my friend, who is now my co-host, and she started calling it the State of the Union address. And she said, listen, I understand you're not going to send it to him, but you need to do something with this. I don't know if it's an article or book. And that's what became the podcast. So the podcast is called Oh No Girl Yes, which is short for Oh No He Didn't, Girl Yes He Did.
Wow.
And we were very limited release because I was not allowed to do it while I was on TV. So we would kind of sneak and do it sometime just to kind of get it out there. But we are listened to in 45 countries, 22,000 plays.
Nice.
What's interesting is our demographic is 87% women, but we have 11% men listeners. And so it's not a male bashing podcast. We really just try to talk things through. Sometimes it might be our shortcomings, something we've learned, or maybe an article or a situation, but we have fun going at it. My co-host, Robin, she's about 10 years younger than me. And she has different perspectives on things that I have. And so people like to see us pretty much not agree on anything. Gotcha. But we're both in the struggle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's super, super cool. I did like it. I like seeing the perspective. I don't like the fact that you're upfront with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just real with it.
Well, you know what? People get embarrassed about their relationships not working out, or they feel like they're the only one is not working out for. So I wanted to take the stigma away from being single. I want to take the stigma away from being broken up with or having your heart broken. And more than likely, a lot of times after you get through those tears, by the time you're telling people the story, they try not to laugh. It's not funny to you, but it's like, and then what happened?
Right.
So we do animated reenactments of breakups. So one of the videos we have out is the time I got cussed out about some Doritos at the Magic City Classic. And I thought, as many times I told that story, I would love to see this in animation. And so that's what we did.
Wait, what? Can you tell us that story? You got cussed out about some Doritos.
By my boyfriend at the Magic City Classic. This was maybe 2007, so some years ago. We went to my friend's tailgate. He worked for a beverage company, so he was in stores all day. And I said, hey, just grab some stuff to take to this tailgate because we kind of got invited last minute. And you know how y'all act when we show up empty-handed. And so he brought some plain potato chips, some bread, and some sodas. And so we put the stuff down, we eat, we drink, had a great time. We're leaving the tailgate, and he made the comment, nobody ate any of the stuff we brought. So I was like, okay, well, we ate stuff we didn't bring. It's okay.
Right.
And then he said, I don't even have bread at the house. I want to go back and get that bread. And I'm like, what? And then I said, well, look, I ate up somebody's Doritos. So if somebody take home them chips, it's a fair trade. And he said, Doritos ain't chips.
But they are.
Exactly. So I said, yeah, Doritos are chips. They're tortilla chips. It says it on the bag. I mean, it's my favorite snack. I know about Doritos, right?
Right.
He says, oh, when somebody says chips, they mean plain potato chips. And I said, no, when somebody says chips, they just mean get it off the chip out. It could be Pringles, Cheetos, popcorn. I bring peanuts and say I got the chips. Right? And next thing I know, he just started cussing me out, going off of me and stomped off down the street. The story goes on, but anyway, that was the last time I ever saw him.
Wow.
That is
Doritos
ridiculous.
saved my life.
Wow.
Can I say something in his defense?
No.
Not one thing in his defense.
What can you try to say in his defense?
What could it be?
Can I? I mean, listen, just from a man's perspective, okay? You were a couple at the Magic City Classic, all right? There's a lot of stress that every man that goes to the Magic City Classic is under. Their eyes are stressed and their necks are stressed if they're there with a significant other of keeping these eyes straight and neck the right direction. Because there's a lot going on. Okay? So what probably happened was he got to a little bit over his stress level, and anything at that point, including Doritos being chips, was just more than he could handle. Like, he had to correct himself too many times with his eyes wandering at the classic, and that's what happened.
And so we will talk about this, something like what you're doing right now on the podcast, about how men will know their brethren are the worst and will still defend. It's amazing. It's a issue you guys have. And even if you are not the horrible person in the room, you will still stick up for the horrible person in the room. And I applaud that. It's very much like Republican of you.
Well, it's not something of I don't know the guy. I'm just putting it in perspective.
And you up here trying to give him an out for cussing out his girlfriend about Doritos at the Magic City Classic, even as ridiculous as it is. What you should have said was, you know what? I hate that happening. But on behalf of all black men in the world, let me apologize for that brother in case he never did it.
Right. I like that.
You know what? That is more of an appropriate response. So since you said it, I should have said it. I apologize. Listen, that's just one story. I'm sure you have more. So I want to apologize for all the guys that may have done something very similar to arguing about whether Doritos or chips at the Magic City Classic to you. On behalf of all the men, any Caucasian men that I need to apologize for?
Just the black ones on this one.
Okay, so all of the African-American / black men that may have offended you in some kind of way, I want to apologize on their behalf right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Strick. So we're moving right along, and there's so much stuff to talk about here. Like, I mean, you're also an author as well, so you have a children's book out as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I have a children's book series that I just launched this year. It stars my two dogs, Sugar and Bella, who surprisingly have been kind of quiet. But
they're doing really well.
They're doing great.
Let me not jinx it, but they are two different dogs. One is a golden and one is a Jack Russell Terrier mix. And when I got them, I didn't know if they would get along, and they did just get along great. When I would share their stories on social media, people would ooh and ah and just love the dogs. But if I scroll past what I post about the dogs, I see everybody hates everybody. It could be politics, sports, religion, demographic, what kind of shoes you wear, whether you put sugar on your grits or not. Like, social media is so divisive now. And But when I would post things about the dogs, all these people that I saw hating each other would come together on the dog post. Ooh, So I thought, well, why not use the dogs to try to communicate what I think we're missing as people, but it's something that comes very naturally to animals. And so you always see those videos where it might be a tiger taking care of a little monkey, or it might be a horse with a cat, and they have these opportunities to be empathetic to each other and care for each other. And they take advantage of that so much more than we do as people. When we see we're different, we decide that they aren't worthy of our love. So I decided to write a series of books that hopefully parents would buy and read and just get the basic understanding, but also pass along to their children. Because I think if children could grow up having a sense of empathy, we would kind of be able to right the ship a little bit.
Nice. I like that. That's a great idea.
Look, oh yeah, sure. I have one right here. So
Yes.
Bella. That's the real Sugar and Bella.
Oh, love that.
So the first book is about when they met and they saw they were so different and would they ever get along. Sugar loved to run and play, and then Bella loved to run and play, and they loved to run and play together so much they never thought about how they were different again.
Nice. And where can we get this book?
You can get this book on Amazon, or you can also get it from sugarlovesbella.com or euniceelliott.com. Yeah.
Yes.
So we had another author on a couple of weeks ago, and we both, Alo and I, wanted to support that author, and Alo went to Amazon and got a sweet deal on the book, and then I went to the author's website and like paid like 10 times as much. So where do you want us to go get the book? Because I know it makes a difference.
Go to my website, euniceelliott.com. You can buy any of my books there. One of the reasons why I do direct people to my website is you have the option to get an autographed copy. So because I can't do signings right now, I still wanted to have the opportunity for people to know that not only did I write the book and it's my puppies, I touched that actual book they had. And it's amazing to be a first-time author. I mean, I've put out another book since then, but every time I autograph any of my books, I have the moment of sending that love and energy to whoever I'm sending it to. Because if someone is purchasing my book, I know that they appreciate me and they appreciate me chasing a dream. And so I try to put that energy for them to receive it, for them to chase theirs. And so I believe in the transference of energy. So if you do get it from my website, euniceelliott.com or sugarlovesbella.com, it's coming from me.
That's cool. That's cool. And that's where I want to get it. I want to get it where you want us to get it from. So we're going to be sure to go to either euniceelliott.com or Sugar and Bella. Now, I want to confirm something with you right now.
Okay.
I'm getting conflicting information.
Oh, okay.
Is it true that you are from Bessemer?
That's very true, yes.
I just can't, I don't see it.
Conflicting
Girls
information.
from Bessemer don't grow up to be on TV and write books about dogs. You know what I'm saying?
They so do. They do. That's the strangest thing. So being from Bessemer, growing up in Bessemer, leaving, I moved away. I lived in Connecticut and Nashville, Miami, Atlanta before coming back, and now I live in Birmingham. But whenever I say I'm from Bessemer and people say you don't act like you're from Bessemer, well, first of all, I feel like that's a challenge, and we can do that too. But ultimately, I must act like somebody from Bessemer because I'm from Bessemer. So it's kind of like if somebody said, well, you don't act like you're black. It is like, I obviously do. Or
Right.
act like you came from a single parent home. I obviously do act like I did, So no, Bessemer is my hometown. Went to high school in Bessemer, family in Bessemer. So what was the conflicting report though?
They're conflicted. I'm conflicted. Like I know people from Bessemer. They're not writing children books about dogs.
They just haven't written them yet.
No, you have written one, and I appreciate it. Like, I'm being funny, but I really appreciate the fact that. So I'm from a small town in Alabama called Opelika, and I appreciate my. You know people from Opelika? Like, they're the best people in the world, right?
Yes, he's an amazing guy. Yeah.
There you go. So the people that I know from Opelika are great people, but it's
so would you say people from Opelika don't have shows, don't have podcasts, don't have radio shows?
Like there's some people from Opelika that have done some amazing things. I always say the people that get out, that are strive to do anything. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're business people. Guess what? From Opelika, and very, very smart people come out of that city. And I just so happen to be one of them. And I champion it.
So it's same for Bessemer. Yeah, same thing. So you understand being from somewhere that people might not traditionally think they're finding this talent pool. But you know what? Let me be honest with you. One of the reasons why I make sure people know I am from Bessemer is because I need any little kid in Bessemer to know you're from Bessemer, and that's not a limit. That's not anything. And being from Bessemer is not a bad thing. To me, it's not a bad thing to say or share. I remember being a little kid, and I didn't know you could be from Bessemer and be on TV. And the first person I ever saw from Bessemer on TV as a little kid, and I remember not being able to understand, wait, he's from Bessemer, how is he on TV? And that was Bo Jackson. Wow. And I didn't know that you could be on TV and be from Bessemer. Wow. So kids need to know you can be from anywhere and be anything.
Yes.
You're right. And I want to inspire people from all over. I've been in Birmingham for a while now, and people would associate me with Birmingham. But if you ever hear me talk, my hometown is Opelika, and I want to inspire everybody, because there are, a lot of people from Birmingham that's going all over the place. And some of them have come up and done some amazing things here in the city as well. I do think that here that we all have an opportunity, or should be challenged with an opportunity, to support each other more, especially ones that are doing what I like to call now content creation, people that are out writing books, people that are speaking, people that are doing podcasts or coaching and those kind of things. Finding ways that we can support one another, that should really be what I call a community for that in Birmingham. That's one of the charges that I feel like in this next season God wants me to do, is just collect people. I'm a networker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a networker, so I want to bring people together, especially the ones that are just striving and trying to be a voice, because our community needs a voice. And,
right, and you collected one from Bessemer, so make sure you write that in your journal tonight about how your life's just changed. But, it really is one of these ideas that we accept that we should not accept. And that is this idea that there are limitations based on where you were born, or based on who you were born as. I had to kind of check somebody the other day who was talking about diversity and inclusion. And I said, actually the terms diversity and inclusion are offensive to me, because that means the standard is a straight white male. And that's not my standard. So when I show up, I'm not the diversity. I'm not being included. I'm the party, Wow. So anytime something is not a straight white male, they're being diverse, they're being inclusive. And I'm just saying we have to change the narratives of the standards that have been put upon us. We can't just keep perpetuating them and think we're doing better. There's no such thing as diversity and inclusion. Let's stop that there,
I like it. So everybody that's watching today, help me out in the comments. Go ahead and put, Eunice said she's not diversity, she is the party. You know what I'm saying?
Character. Right, I'm the main character. We are all the main character in our show. So if we show up, we're the it's like we're the deviant from the norm, or we're different or less than the norm. There is no norm. You set the norm when you walk in the room. It's whatever you say it is.
Yes, I like that, sis. Come on now.
See, speaking my language, You gotta be a pace setter. Like, who's setting the pace? You set the pace.
Right.
And it cuts down on anxiety and anxiousness and comparison. I don't compare myself to anybody. I mean, Facebook memories try to make me compare myself to myself on some of my worst days when they bring up old pictures and stuff. But my mom, and it's chapter 1, I have a second book called 10 Things Your Mama Never Told You, but mine did. But chapter 1 of that book is You Are So Very Special, but remember you ain't special. Because my mom told me, there's nobody like you in the whole entire world.
Yes.
So there's a certain confidence that comes with knowing you're the only one. But she also said, but you ain't special. Don't nobody care. So you still got to work hard. You still got to be a good person. You still got to be creative. You still got to, respect everybody else. So because I know everybody is special, I don't think anyone's more important to me. I don't think anyone's less important to me. I think everybody is genuinely and uniquely special. And I also know nobody cares.
I love that.
Listen, we just gotta let that marinate. Hey, oh my God.
People always ask me about my confidence. I'm like, I cannot be wrong at being Eunice Elliott. Now, I would possibly have less confidence if I was trying to be like something I saw, because then that means I'm trying to do something that ain't authentic to me.
Yeah.
No one has ever seen a better Eunice Elliott. So there's no stress there. This is it. And I'm not saying I'm all that, but this is what I am today. And if you stay tuned tomorrow, it'll be something else. And, but there's nobody for me to compare myself to.
Listen, it's like having somebody else say the words that I say all the time. Let me say this to you. It took me, I was on radio here in the city for about 14, 15 years, right? The first it took me 5 years to actually find my own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was on radio doing things, and I was trained, I was listening to people, and I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't me. It took me 5 years to figure out and to calm down and say, you know what? I'm here now, because I was doing it for 5 years at that point. People seem to like it. It is going well. The numbers look good. Let's just be who we are. And once I started doing that, guess what? It got even better because people were able to connect with that person Strick was. And I absolutely loved the fact that I could just turn on a mic and there was no prep to it. It was just me being me. And, of course, music was surrounded by it, but, man, it worked. And
something, especially like being a DJ or a radio personality, you probably got into it because you were enamored by somebody that did it. So it's a natural inclination, even as a stand-up comic. The first few years, you'll see people who kind of just borrow other people's styles because it's somebody you admire, that you study, and you don't realize that you're mimicking them. And so even though I'm a student of comedy, I am conscious of not consuming too much comedy, because you can easily start telling somebody else's jokes on stage because you heard it and you thought it was funny, and the next thing you know, you just stole somebody's jokes. The other part of that, especially with comedy, there's no new concepts under the sun. So you can have 5,000 comedians in the same state telling a similar premise, and it doesn't mean anybody stole the joke. But if you really dig into what makes you authentic, everybody ain't been cussed out about Doritos at the Magic City Classic.
True.
So if I bring my most authentic self, a lot of single comedians can tell the same single stories I can tell, but they can't tell the stories that only I can tell.
Yeah.
Or did you tap into your authentic self in whatever it is you do? That's what makes you special. You think about doctors or teachers or attorneys, everybody can go get that exact same degree, but your success is how much of you did you bring to that? Not just that you got the degree, is that you do it differently. You do it a way only you can do it. And it was crazy because people don't have that thought process about themselves and who they were born to be. So my theory is, if we were all attached to our purpose and we were all very connected to who we were actually born to be, that's where all of our riches are. That's where we will have all of the success in the world, because that is the most natural thing we could ever do, is be ourselves. But we get dumbed down by education and comparisons and classes, and okay, you got to have this by this age, you need to have this, and if you don't have that, you're not special, and it makes people stressed out and unhappy, and you just working to try to get the next thing to show somebody, versus just waking up and saying, okay, what could I do today to leave a piece of me on this planet?
Right.
That is all good stuff. Listen,
Yes, it is.
people are soaking this up too in the comments. Like I'm appreciating people making comments and listening to this. I know by what I can see online your talent, but having a conversation with you and hearing your wisdom is even more encouraging to me, and I'm hoping as I can see people come in and everybody else. I mean, this is some really good stuff. Hey, what do you think?
I think this is great, and you're also I want to get this right. Are you a life coach? Is that what it is?
Dream coach.
Dream coach.
Yeah.
Dream coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about more of your dream coaching and what's your coaching style, and who do you work with?
I'll work with anybody.
Okay.
So that's the first part. So the dream coaching, I've done it in different settings. A few years ago, I did a series called Living the Dream through Birmingham Public Library. It's just a free series that I put together and people could come because, like I said, I'm very attached to being in my purpose. And I realized so many people are not attached to their purpose. They're just trying to pay the rent. My life is better if you guys are in your purpose. And so maybe it's a selfish reason why I want everybody to be attached to their purpose and dream, because we're in a network of people together, right? So the more that everybody is attached to their purpose, that improves my life as well. That means I'm now benefiting from them sharing their gifts. And we're all put in these situations in life to share and grow and nurture each other. And somehow we flipped it into, let's see who all I can tear down and criticize and talk bad about and make, because you feel bad about yourself. So my dream coaching is a one-on-one scenario. Now I do it through Skype or FaceTime or however you want to do it. But it's basically all of us have a dream, passion, purpose. And most of us have not pursued the pull of that dream. And so I offer you a safe place to share it. You can tell when someone is scared to share their dream with you, because they'll say, well, I know this is going to sound crazy. And I always stop them and I say, it doesn't sound crazy. And that's not your real information, but you shared it to someone and they said that. And so now you try to preface it to not hurt yourself. We are most intimidated by what we want most. So most people won't even pursue their dream because they think of the hurt of not accomplishing it versus never trying. And so I go through the sessions. We talk about what it is you want to accomplish. What's the dream? And then each session we work on moving the needle closer to that. And you do as many sessions as you would like. But it's a one-on-one safe space. Nothing is crazy. Nothing is impossible. And I give you the opportunity to have an accountability partner to move the needle on your dream. So that's the short version of it. But being a girl growing up in Bessemer, a single mom, I always had dreams. I always had this idea that was not necessarily what I saw around me. So it was a dream to go to the University of Alabama. I worked in the athletic department. My first job out of school was at ESPN, which was a dream.
Sorry to hear that. Like, I just had to stop you, Listen, you can make better decisions. You
Listen, let me say this, because first if you say Bessemer and now you say Alabama, there's this saying that says, I have never seen a hater doing better than me.
Praying for my haters today.
Roll Tide.
It's not hating. It's just
a hater doing better.
Right.
But I had all these dream careers. And so I went to ESPN, then I went to the Tennessee Titans. I went to the Orange Bowl committee. I worked for an agent in Atlanta before I started my own PR firm representing athletes. But I remember each moment that was a dream before I accomplished it. And I've shared online before, I got several and many rejection letters from the Tennessee Titans before they hired me because I just felt like I'm going to work there, and so a lot of times no doesn't mean no. It just means no, we're not sure. No, not right now. No, I'm not the person to talk to. And so I feel like I have a talent and I take the power from no because I've heard it so many times. It doesn't affect me like at all. And so I want to encourage people. Okay, we got a little discouraged. We got a little distracted. Okay, we got these responsibilities, but let's move the needle on this dream because I need you to be in your purpose as much as you and your family need you to be in your purpose.
Yes. And I think that's one thing that I absolutely love about you is that you're a dream coach now after you've conquered and accomplished so much stuff in your life. So I can look at your track record and say, wow, she's done this. She's been able to do this. She's done this. And you're still working. And I think it's
the highlights. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about all the times I couldn't pay my rent. We can talk about me trying to chase down checks from millionaires who hadn't given me my money just to keep my car. So a lot of times people get so attached to the highlights. And let's say if you're watching SportsCenter and you see the highlights, you're not seeing the time in the gym. You're not seeing the time they were sick. You're not seeing the time they couldn't go home for their grandma's funeral because it was the playoffs. You're not seeing all that. You just get the highlights. And so many times with successful people just consume the highlights. And I'm like, listen, you're going to have some of the worst days of your life. But I would like to believe that I would rather, unfortunately, we're all terminal, right? We're all going to have a last breath. And I always think of what I want my last breath thought to be. And I work every day to make sure my last breath thought is, whew, I did that. I don't want it to be, wait, hold on. Right. And that's what inspires me every day. It's like, okay, God forbid this be my last day. I want to know that I did that. And I left it out there. And that's what is giving me peace with Chadwick Boseman's passing, is I feel like he was attached to what he had to do and the work he wanted to leave. And he had an advantage of all of those wonderful things he was doing that we didn't know what he was going through. He didn't take any of it for granted. And so that gives me peace, and it inspires me to not take my life for granted, not knowing when my last day will be.
Yes. That was.
I absolutely love this. Like, not only has she given us like some funny moments tonight, but she's preached too. Like, the only thing else I could do is pass the offering bucket. You know what I'm saying?
So, right, this is an exchange of energy, I was saying. So for me, I start offering dream coaching. One, is a way for me to make money in the pandemic when I can't travel and do all the things I was planning to do. But also it's an exchange of energy, because I live with my dogs. I live alone. But to see someone light up about themselves, to see someone get excited about themselves. It's great when people get excited about me, but I see that they don't realize they're just as special. They're just as wonderful. The great philosopher Jay-Z once said that everybody has genius level talent. It's just about whether you'll ever tap into yours. And sometimes when you consume somebody else's genius, it'll light that fire and make you want to share your genius. But we all have it. I mean, you have to know we were all created for a specific reason.
That's true. That's true. And I want to reach into the comments real quick, because Pastor Thomas Beavers is on, and here in the comments, like, he's just coming on, so he missed us talking about what inspired you to leave the news station. So, of course, from the book about Sugar and Bella, did I get that right?
Yeah, Sugar Loves Butter. Well, what actually inspired me to leave the news station is when I first started. Keep in mind, I was a part-time traffic reporter. Then I got hired on as full-time traffic. Then I got promoted to anchor. And then I think I signed maybe 3 or 4. Every year I signed a new multi-year deal. And again, I was feeling like I was being successful because I'm signing these nice contracts for a job. I'm on TV. I have people's respect and admiration. But at the end of the day, I couldn't write my books. I couldn't do stand-up comedy. I couldn't have my podcast. So all of the things that were authentic to me had to be on mute for me to go and shine on TV at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that was just a very easy choice for me. It really was not hard at all. It was just about getting out of my contract, you know. But once the decision was made, because like I said, I would go to bed getting ready for that alarm to go off at 2:30, and that wasn't how I wanted my last breath to be. Yeah. And by the time we agreed to dissolve my contract, it was 6 months before my last day. So after we agreed, I signed the release papers. That was like last October. My last day wasn't until March 20th. And that was the most anxiety I think I've ever had in my life, was, God, please don't let me die before I get out of here and share my voice. Wow. So that became a panic for me. And there's so many people that go to bed with that panic, and they don't even realize that's what it is. There's something in them saying, please don't let this be the end. This is not what I want to do. But through the dream coaching and through everything I do, I really want to encourage people to pursue the pull. It's always going to pull you. Always. There's nothing you're going to do to get away from your purpose. Whether you actually pursue it or not is on you, but that pull is never going to go away.
So let me ask you this question. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, do you have one to follow up with that?
Hey, go. Strick City, baby.
And I know you have a question. I know you have one ready, but I want to say this. Is there anything that's next, or could you share with us, because you already dropped the bomb about the boyfriend, is there anything on the horizon, like the next thing that you're working on that you want to share with the audience tonight?
I'm working on a lot of stuff. So I one of the things that I wanted to pursue was comedy writing and acting. So since we're in this space where we're not doing as much stand-up, there's a couple of clubs open. I've been on stage a few times during this pandemic, but I've really been focusing more on writing. So I have one project I'm working on with somebody who's in the business that's really exciting. But most immediately, and probably like even this week, there's a group called It's a Southern Thing, and they do these funny little sketches. Yes. And I've done some things with them acting, and I wrote my first sketch. We produced my first sketch that I wrote. And it'll be coming out this week. And when I wrote it, I didn't think about I didn't write it for me to be in it. I didn't, I just wrote a comedy sketch. And what I didn't realize until we were filming it is that it will be the first all black sketch for It's a Southern Thing.
Nice.
And realized that, and and I'm bracing myself.
Mhm.
But I just was writing comedy, and black people are funny too. And so I'll just be doing more writing, and hopefully more of my projects you'll start seeing. But that one is coming out this week.
That is super dope. My best friend actually just got casted in It's a Southern Thing. So that's interesting that you brought that up, because I'm hearing about it, and I was like, this is so amazing. So it's amazing to see somebody else, working with it. And I know you told us earlier that it's a little bit past your bedtime. We're not going to keep you too much longer.
I took a nap, so I'm good. We can go all night.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, good. Because I was just thinking, I was like, dog, Strick, we're going to talk her head off.
No, and I took some sugar in. Listen, I bought Grape-A-Co for the first time in probably my entire life. I don't think I've ever had Grape-A-Co in my house. And it's been amazing.
Yes, Grape-A-Co's are some of the best.
See, again, you're sending mixed signals. You can't be from Bethma and not have Grape-A-Co. Like, that don't make sense.
Oh, I try not to buy sugar, because if I have it, when you live by yourself and you're an adult, you can drink and eat it all.
Right. It's all yours. Right.
There's nobody there to judge you or watch you or monitor you. And that's why I really gained weight when I went to college, because I had 3 siblings and you weren't allowed to eat everything. You had to share everything. You couldn't eat the last of everything. And by the time I got to college, it was mine. And I still feel that way. So I try not to buy things that I like too much, because it's all mine.
So did you enjoy the Grape-A-Co?
Did I? Yeah.
Well, okay. We asked a lot of questions. Okay, I kind of want to go back to this before we get off of this. But 10 things your mama never told you, but mine did. Now, that's one of the books that you kind of brushed past when you were talking.
So thank you for asking.
There you go, sis.
So 10 things your mama never told you, but mine did. Unconventional wisdom to navigate a world that cares nothing about you or your feelings.
Wow.
So I learned very early on from my mom that, sometimes people are going to make fun of you. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way. Nobody cares. What you going to do about it? So every chapter in the book is something I went through or something my mom told me, and I kind of tell the story about what happened. But the point of it is a very short read. It's a very small book. I didn't want it to be intimidating to anybody. I wanted people to pick it up and say, oh, okay, I'm curious. But each chapter is something my mom would say to me. So I mentioned chapter 1 is, you are so very special, but remember you ain't special. But chapter 4, an example, is you can do it with a whooping or without a whooping. My mom would give us the option. She was like, it's going to get done. So a lot of times we feel like we got to have like the horror before we have the heaven. And so many times people won't just do things right the first time, but they have to be prodded. And whether that's a supervisor or a manager or a spouse or a parent, just do it right. That's another chapter. It says never time to do it right the first time, but it's always time to do it again. And so it's really about putting your best foot forward first. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but there's nothing worse than, as my mom would say, half-assing something. And then having to take the time to redo it when you could have just done it as great as you could the first time. So there's a chapter about not dimming your light. My mom said I started dimming my light in high school when I started wanting to have friends. And then you start noticing that you try not to be as great as you are because you're around people who aren't as great as they can be. And I don't want them to think okay, we don't do that anymore. And that's why I need everybody to be shining. So if you see me shining, you can shine. If you're not ready to shine, you're going to feel like you're in my shadow and you're not going to feel good about that. And I'm saying, no, let's flip the switch. Let's all glow together, So each chapter, and then the last chapter in the book is from me just saying, this isn't an advice book. I believe you are fully loaded and you know everything you need to do. You just need to trust your personal GPS. And so many times we listen to mom or best friend or teacher or pastor and people who really do mean well, but they can only teach us what they know.
Right. Oh, that's good.
You're born knowing everything you need to know.
That's really good.
Yeah. But if not, your spirit is always, that's that pull. If you don't pursue it, your spirit is always rerouting. It's that unfulfillment you feel. It's that anxiety you feel, that anxiousness. It's the depression. It's all of that. It's your spirit trying to reroute you to what you should be doing. And you see so many stories of people who, by the time they pursue their pull or their passion, it may have come out of tragedy. It may have come out of rock bottom. It may have come out of desperation. And so right now, why not try to get there from not the bottom? Let's not have the whole world fall apart for us to pursue that pool. You know, it's there.
Yes, I love that. And we can get the book one more time at Eunice.
Also get that on Amazon or euniceelliott.com.
Okay.
So I did add the website to
great.
our live here, and somebody asked in the comments, like, what's the link to get it? This is where we want you to go get it. And that's available on Amazon, but we want you to go to euniceelliott.com.
Yeah.
All
and
right,
if you want
I got this.
Copy, if you want an autographed copy, especially, I will say it's faster on Amazon. You probably already got your Amazon Prime set up, so it's just quicker and more convenient. But I do have books here in house, so if somebody placed orders, they'll go out this week.
Yay!
I'm absolutely having a ball. Go ahead, A.
You know what? This has been such a great night and such an amazing show. I have learned so much. I have laughed. This has been so much fun, and I appreciate you, Miss Elliott, soon to be Mrs. Somebody. We claiming your husband in your ring in the name of Jesus.
Hey, don't put no pressure on them, A. Listen. This is
I'm
new.
not saying
No
him.
pressure.
There's
No pressure.
It's
I'm
been 17 years. There is no pressure.
I'm not saying it's him, but I'm just saying somebody. This is somebody.
Right. He'll say, I don't think he's watching tonight because he actually just recently deleted Facebook. But
hey, that was a good move on his behalf.
No,
that's
it
a
is.
serious thing.
I will say this, even though he's not seeing this, he is a very lucky man. Yes.
Yes. Oh.
The confidence. I'm telling you, I love it.
I'm saying because he's not watching. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes, and how can we listen to your podcast too? Your Oh No Girl, yes.
Yeah, Oh No Girl, yes is on all podcast platforms. So anywhere where you could listen to a podcast. We also have a YouTube channel where since the pandemic, you can actually see us do the podcast. The channel is Oh No Girl, yes as well. But it looks like, I know on my analytics because I just had to put a presentation together for somebody, but 75% of our listeners listen on Apple Podcasts, but we're on Stitcher, Castbox, SoundCloud, anywhere.
That's
Nice.
what's up. I meant to say this earlier.
Tuesday, yeah.
Say that again.
New episodes of the podcast come out on every Tuesday. At this point, like I said, I think we're up to maybe like 60 episodes maybe, but they're all on anywhere where you look at the podcast. You can start it. Episode 1 is a horrible audio episode, but it's the most perfect episode because it was the original inspiration. It's a phone call between me and my girlfriend. So the audio is horrible because we just recorded a phone call, and then after that it gets better.
Good.
That's cool. So you talking about some of the people that can actually hear your podcast or who already heard your podcast, and it reminded me what my analytics look like. I actually have 100% female.
Really?
Yeah. My wife has listened to all of my shows. Like she's listened to all my shows twice. You know what I'm saying? So that's the demographic for me. So I thank her very much.
Yeah. A lot of the male listeners listen with their wives. We have been told that even though we're two single ladies talking on the podcast, we're able to introduce topics to them that they can then discuss and no one feels defensive. So like we did one episode about needing space. Where's your space bar? And so a married couple sent us a message saying it was so great because we were able to have a conversation about space that we probably needed to have. But how do you tell your mate, hey, I need space without that being something else? So because of the topics we talk about, we give people an opportunity to discuss it themselves with nobody feeling like, okay, wait, what made you think of that today?
Right.
So the guys that I've met that have listened, they like it.
Nice.
That's what's up. I thought it was a great show when I watched, and I can appreciate. I did not know the background of the other young lady, but thank you for sharing. Can you give her name again?
Her name is Robin Sermon. She's a book editor, real estate agent. She's my podcast co-host. We originally met. She used to be the executive producer of the morning show for Channel 13. So I met her when I got that job, and we formed a friendship and was sharing stories. And, I'm able to support a lot of her hustles. She's traveled on the road to see me do comedy. So it's like a sisterhood where, like I said, we're in different places in our lives, and we usually don't agree on most things, but we have like this trust and bond where this has been a great journey to do with her, Robin Sermons, but she does real estate. Sermons Realty.
That's cool. So is there anything, can there possibly be anything else that you're doing that we have not talked about?
I make up something new every day. A couple of weeks ago, I haven't shared it on my social media yet. I shared it on LinkedIn. I'm doing Zoom corporate comedy. So since everybody has to do like 1,000 Zooms a day and a week, you can now invite me to your Zoom. Let's have fun. Like, because this is the worst thing ever. So I'm doing Zoom corporate comedy now. So you can inbox me if you'd like to invite me to your Zoom. I have different sessions I offer for that. I've been doing some virtual hosting and emceeing, so that's a whole new bag. And so that's the thing, it's like you're having to get creative, because I'm a person that needs an audience to do, I left my day job to go out into the world, and so now I'm having to get creative with how I get the world to me.
I love it, 100%. The ideas, the creativity, Zoom calls. You could do comedy on a corporate call. You can host a corporate call on Zoom. I love it. Hey, what do you think about that?
I think it is amazing. And you talked about hosting virtually. You recently just did Freedom Fest as well.
Yeah. Man, you did such a great job with that. Let me say, totally outside of anything I did associated with it, when they reached out to me and said, hey, obviously things have changed. This is going to be a virtual festival. Personally, I was like, I don't even know what that sounds like or what that would be like, but they did such a great job. I did not plan on watching the whole thing that day because I had some other things to do. And I watched the entire thing. I was very, very proud to be a part of it. And the way the panels they had, the discussions, the people they had participating, the way they put it together. I mean, it was really impressive. I was really proud to be a part of that. But that means there's a market for that kind of thing, right?
True.
So now I'm saying, okay, well, everybody's virtual. I actually got an email. I'm not sure if it's real yet, but I got an email for in Washington, Microsoft, for some virtual conference. Now, there's a lot of scams going. So if somebody gets me on a plane to Washington, if y'all don't see me again, I fail for it. Okay.
Hey, listen, it's recorded now. We know what happened. We can just share the recording.
In Washington, I got on the plane. But again, every day, the advantage is, sadly, with the pandemic and sadly with the racial crisis we're in, my greatest blessing is that I don't have to set an alarm at 2:30 every morning to talk about it, and not even set an alarm to talk about it, to not be able to say what I feel about it. So that actually still has been the greatest blessing, that my last day on the air was March 20th, and that was pretty much the shutdown of the world. So things haven't gone according to plan, but I feel so blessed to just be in my own authentic space during this time, for sure.
Yes.
So Eunice, I sent you a message, inbox you, say, hey, be a part of my show. We have never met, okay? We've never met. Like, how is that? Like, can people just reach out to you? And then when you got that, like, what do you do?
About
like
people,
like a stranger. Like, I know people may know me in the city, and we may have some mutual friends, but we don't know each other. So to get an inbox saying, hey, would you be on my show? Like, how was that experience for you?
You want to know, why would a girl from Bessemer be on a guy from Opelika's show? Is that what you're asking me?
Well, that's not all of what I'm asking, because I'm very much more than just a guy from Opelika. At the end of the day, I am Strick, so I understand a little bit.
I read all my messages. Well, that's not true, but I read most of my messages. But I do try to read most of my messages. I don't read all of them, but I do try to read. I would say I read 95% of them. Okay. And so people send me messages about a lot of different things. I was saying there was a guy who sent me a message and I didn't know what it was. He had sent me a couple of good mornings, hellos that I had never responded to, but he sent me a video recently and I was afraid of, what is this video?
Right.
And it was him showing off his ferns, because I've become a plant lady and I have these ferns I talk about. And so that meant a lot to me, that he wanted to show me his ferns. I mean, it wasn't what I thought it was, but a fern, that was good too. So I feel like people connect with me for different reasons. And so if I can see a message, and if it's just a matter of me responding, that makes the difference in somebody's day, one, feeling heard or seen. I do try to respond to people when I can. Now, again, I don't read all messages, and all messages I don't think necessarily require a response.
Right.
Yeah.
I do still manage my energy, but I was excited. I feel like when you reached out to me, I feel like something happened where I kind of forgot about it. like I think I was supposed to email you something, whatever. So I do apologize for that. But that happens now for me, is I can get text messages or emails and I'll read them and I totally have responded in my head, but I've never like typed it and pressed send.
Yes.
So that's where. But anybody can reach out to me. Yeah, I'm on all social media under my government name, Eunice Elliott, and I will write back.
Yes, and you're named after your grandmother.
I am. All my grandparents are gone now, but my last surviving grandmother was Eunice. Is my mom's mom, and it was hard being a young Eunice, you know, because folks are hateful. But it's worked out for me. You know, I don't pay more for Google search. Like, it's not a lot of active duty Eunices out there. So when people Google Eunice, I come up to the top. So it's, you know, the rest of them have obituary next to it. So it's been a blessing still, you know.
That's funny.
It's working for me. I have about 30 more years before I really grow into it, but I'm riding out with it. It's been okay so far.
Beautiful.
I do have a Aunt Eunice.
And she probably was the candy lady or the Bible school teacher. And it's all good. It's all good. No, you know, but it really was. People used to call me Eunice, Unicycle, Unisum, Enos, Anus, Unta, Kunta, Kente, sister. I mean, you know. But let me just say for the record, for all the kids that made fun of me growing up in Bessemer, because my name, you know, all the Trishondas and Trikis, we didn't have all the data on how that was going to turn out yet, right?
We did not have the data.
Unit, no, I'm going to live to get old.
That's true. That's true. Already.
Yes, you're going to make it.
I'm predestined to be an old woman. Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
But yeah, it's hard being a Eunice with pigtails. Yeah.
Man, that is cool. Like, so I knew, like, reaching out to you, like, from stuff that I've seen, because, okay, you can't be in Birmingham and not have seen you on television. I've seen you, like, at a local event, do comedy. I've seen you, like, I went to the Barons game, like, you were hosting something at the Barons, and, like, with this lady.
Announcer at the Barons. But let me say this about that time. At that time, I was a part-time traffic reporter, so people would see me on TV every day, but I didn't have any benefits. It wasn't full-time. In the afternoon, I would go work at the radio station, Hot 107.7, producing the Steve Harvey Show, and then I would do the Barons game. So that was 3 jobs I was hustling up on. All of them seemed glamorous, but I had 3 jobs because I needed 3 jobs.
Right.
None of them benefits. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean about people consuming the highlights. So if you say to me, I saw you at the Barons, I remember, oh my God, I was exhausted. I was working 3 jobs. You know, that's the behind the scenes of it. But oh yeah, I used to do the Barons. But the memory of that, it was I was working so hard.
Yeah.
But I also knew when I reached out to you that, number 1, you were a hard worker. Number 2, that you were creating content like right now. Current content is being created through the podcast, through your books, and through your comedy that people need to hear. And I personally wanted to hear your real story. I did not know that you were from Bessemer, so I think that helps everybody to understand. No, I mean, being honest with you, that makes you real to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can come from all over the place, but we know where Bessemer is, and we now know that someone has worked their behind off to make a living for themselves and to do some things that people want to do. There's a ton of people that want to write books. You have 2 books out right now. You've done that.
And number 1 thing, since I've had books out, that people will inbox me and they ask for me to mentor them or give them advice or whatever. And the number 1 thing for anybody even watching this, or either you, I'm assuming the 2 of you have books in you. I'm assuming.
I got a book in me, that's for sure.
The only advice I have to start is write the book. Because so many people say, oh, I have an idea for a book. Oh, I have a children's book idea. And you know what? You can have all the ideas in the world. Originally, my book was going to be called, Okay, So I Wrote a Book. Now what? Because I would talk and people would say, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I was just like, okay, I wrote a book. Now what I'm supposed to do? But it was that thing of I had to write it. And so that's the number 1 piece of advice I give to people. And I think they might think I'm like being dismissive when I say, hey, write the book and then spend some time with it. You're going to need to reread it, rewrite it. You need to get an editor. You know, all these things need to happen, but you have got to just write the first version of it. And you do that, it really empowers you because it's like, you're like, wait a minute, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
You know? And I self-published both of my books, and that's very easy to do. The hard part is writing the book. So if you could just give yourself, say, I want to write a chapter a month. Just give yourself some kind of goal to get to, so you could just start seeing that dream come into fruition. And once you accomplish one thing, like anything, once you do one home project, you think you can do all the other things in the house. And sometimes you need to call somebody. That's when my ceiling fan don't work. But the point is to stay focused. Is when you do move the needle, it moves the needle all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. I believe
But
in that as
kind of
well.
stuff we do with dream coaching, but it's like one-on-one. And I actually, oh wait, this is something. I just set my page up on Facebook, my Eunice Elliott media page, for a subscription. So now you can actually subscribe monthly to get exclusive content, because some people are intimidated to do one-on-one sessions.
Mm.
So I wanted to create a platform where people can be in a group, and maybe I'm not talking directly to them, or they're not having to really, pursue it that way, but still making that possible and available to.
Hey,
people.
excuse me.
Right.
We're not going to do that all fast. We need to unpack the
I
fact
just
that.
that just happened today. I forgot.
I get it. I get it. This is hot off the press. We need to put that in the comments as well. There is a Facebook group that you established today that people can subscribe to.
Yes, at the top of the page, next to my name, it says Eunice Elliott Media, my professional page, and it says Visit Group. Once you click on that, you can subscribe. And that group, if anybody who does follow me on social media, I have not been posting as much the last 2 weeks because I've decided I have to start capturing this content that I've just been giving away and throwing out. I'm like, okay, well, home, you're working.
Yeah.
I got to make this content valuable and give people something that they're paying for and that they want to keep coming back to. So I had to then stop giving away, right? Stop giving away the talent, but also still wanting to provide that service and realizing people are very, very intimidated to talk to you about what they always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully this will give people an opportunity to still kind of get some inspiration and get some guidance and have accountability partners without, talking themselves out of it. I had somebody who signed up for the dream coaching sessions, paid for the full session, and couldn't get out of her own way to even do the calls.
Wow.
Well, if you don't feel comfortable,
that's the scariest thing in the world to do is to try to do what you always wanted to do. I respect that.
Yeah.
Well, Eunice, if you don't feel comfortable keeping, because they paid up front, I don't mind taking that on that person's behalf and holding on to that money till they're ready.
You know what? I actually have a belief that one day she'll come back. Sometimes I'll send her messages just checking in, but I also am not trying to pressure her. I'm not trying to make her feel bad about not being ready. So all those things I take very good care of people who trust me with that. Gotcha. But it broke my heart because I've always been such a go-getter and dreamer to see somebody and realize there's more people like her than not.
Yeah, that's true.
That want to do it, has taken some steps to do it. And then when we're sitting there saying, she wanted to write a book, and I said, okay, by next week's session, just have one page. Mm. And she kept rescheduling the next session until we never had the next session.
Wow.
So I know we've been talking for a long time, and I don't know if you have a final question, because your questions at the end are always better than mine. But I talk a lot too. I'm sorry. No. This has been great. This has been great.
Awesome. It's so long. It's so great to see people.
I have a question for you. Like, I want to know, like, Eunice, this life experience for you, like, at what point, even if you remember, we kind of skimmed over it already today, but was there a point in time where you realized that your gifting, your talent, what you're able to do versus the people that were around you, like, did you ever really have to just separate yourself from people that, how I want to say it, maybe didn't have the same type talent and was holding you back? Well,
yes and no. It usually doesn't come down to talent. It comes down to energy. Mm-hmm. And so if you're around 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th broke one.
Ooh, Lord, no.
I associate with people who have dreams. I try to associate with people who work hard. I associate with people. So it doesn't mean we have the same talent or that they are in the arts or in that way. but I do like to surround myself with people that I wouldn't mind being like. I think it was Will Smith, either it was attributed to Will Smith. It says, look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. It might be family, it might be your mate, but if you don't want to be like them, you need a new 5. Right. So I don't have a lot of people that I spend time with, but the people I do spend time with, I respect them, I treasure them, and I wouldn't mind being able to, take pieces of them with me. Now, we all have family members, we all have friends we've had since 2nd grade, that we have to let them go at some point. And it doesn't mean you're right, they're wrong, you're good, they're bad, or vice versa. It just means you just want to grow, and you have to repot in different soil to get the full bloom.
Ooh, I like that. Repot in different soils. Get the full bloom. I'm writing that down.
Abby, planted stuff.
Eunice, do you not know how many sound bites I've had for you today? I can make 4 or 5 different videos based on just the nuggets that you've thrown out.
That's sweet. I don't remember anything I ever say, so send me a link to if you do that. But you know what? But seriously, I am so attached to my mortality that I'm always excited to try something new. I'm always excited to see other people get excited. So for me, this makes me feel better in a world where people are so anxious and so depressed and so annoyed and so frustrated. I have not watched the news since I stopped doing the news in March. So in the morning, the way I know what's going on in the world, I will go and source information. I can't consume it all because it's not all for me. I don't need it all in my spirit. And I can't do nothing about most of it. So I try to focus my energies on the things that I can contribute to, the things that I can help, the things that I can make more positive. And that's all I can do. So even with me starting the subscription page, I want to create a space that people say, I know what kind of content I'm going to get here. It's going to make me feel better. It's going to inspire me. It's going to entertain me. It's going to encourage me. Because even when you're scrolling, you might be the best person in the world. You don't know what you might scroll up on that will change your whole spirit.
True.
And I just offer people a space where you come here, this is how we do it here. Okay. Because we're all very fragile right now. So anything I say right now, I'm saying it so I can hear it, even if I don't remember it. But we just need to be kinder to ourselves and to each other and know that, unfortunately, we're all going to die. But the good news is we're not dead yet. So
Yes, sis.
That dash, right? So I think about life as, what do you do until you die? It's going to happen. But what are you doing until then? If you sitting around, you being hateful, you being lazy, you being mean, then that was kind of a waste.
Wow. Okay. Holy Spirit speaking now. Now, that ain't nothing but God coming out of you now, girl. Okay.
You know what? I might need to go ahead. My dad is a preacher.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Listen, it's all over you, too.
I'm not a religious person at all. I'm very spiritual. I feel like religion, education, healthcare, politics, all these things are things men created to keep certain people feeling less than. So I don't think any of us were created to be less than. So everything that was created was to keep certain people to feel that way. So I really don't subscribe to any of those real constructs because I don't think they're set up for you to feel good.
Now, God created us in his image. So, if you talk about how and why we're created, God created us, and again, in his image. So we have some things innate in us that does connect us to him. Now, there's some other things, like where we talk about the world, and there are some rules that have been established for people to discipline each other or to have order, but that's different than what God created. That being said,
that's the thing. When we Christians, I feel like I consider myself a Christian, even though I don't consider myself religious. But I feel like, especially now, Christians are giving Christians a bad name because you have this belief in this ideology based in love, but every day you see who they're talking about they hate. And so it's just so counterproductive and counterintuitive to the basis of it. So I believe that a lot of times these good Christian folks who are hateful, and when you say we were created in his image, they have taken that to mean we should be created in their image. So they forgot that if I'm here, I must be, I consider it like God. And then he took these little scoops and scooped out little cups of God so he can experience himself through all of us, however we are. And that's his experience of us. He didn't make us clones of each other and robots and without free will and creativity and dreams. He wanted to experience himself through all of our journeys. And so when people are anti-group of people because they're not like them, it's like you missed the whole point.
Right. The
whole setup is not for you to be talking to me about anything I'm doing. Ever.
So the idea is, and you said it, like we're not created to hate, we're created to love,
Hmm.
and God loves can supersede a lot of the hate if we allow it to, if we allow God's love to. So we have to kind of change the mindset of people, especially when they come with, you use this word a lot today, the negative energy, especially when they come with energy that's negative. What we should be doing is showering that energy with some real love to make a difference to other people. And I think
Right.
if we do that, we'll give God a better name. You'll give Christianity a better
Right.
name because,
People are Christianity a bad name for sure of what they're doing based in hate or fear,
right,
uh, and then tagging it as Christianity.
exactly, exactly.
And I feel the same way about politics. I think a two-party system is the beginning of the end of the world. And it used to be this idea that because all of us can't go sit in a room and make all the laws for the country, that we elect people that will represent our interests, and not that we just elect people that go and get in the club and just agree with all the other people in the club. And it's not us versus them. Like, we're all here breathing all of this same corona air. And the fact that we still are even more divided at a time where corona don't care about nobody's feelings
Right,
real bad,
right,
it be frustrating. And so because of that, I think this is also a great time for us to turn into ourselves and say, okay, you know what, I am a creation of love and talent and creativity, and even though it might look like a dumpster fire out here, let me bring more of my gifts to the world. And the more that everybody does that, the less dumpster fires we have.
That was really my idea. So this show, which is dubbed into a podcast. So I have the show that's on Facebook. It's archived on YouTube. It's on Twitter through Periscope, and then I put it on the podcast system where it's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google, and all that kind of stuff. And it was birthed out of, guess what? We're in a pandemic right now. Everybody's at home quarantining. I have a little extra time. God has blessed me with a voice. Let me share it with some people. And with that voice, I'm a good networker. So I see talent like yourself, and I did not know all of what I know tonight about you. And I'm like really blown away at your talent from Bessemer. But I have an opportunity tonight to share that with my audience. And that is the coolest thing that I could do, for people to see someone that looks like them, that talks like them. And again, it's from Bessemer, and I want that to encourage them.
I mean, you really are, and it's Bessemer.
It's Bessemer. I was trying to pronounce it like I was from Opelika, though.
No, you know what? Honestly, like I said, all of us can do anything.
Yes.
So you just got to make the first step, and then that'll encourage the next step and the next step, and we hold each other accountable in love, and just cheer each other on.
Well, sis, I am definitely encouraged, and I appreciate you for coming on to our show. It has been such a great show that we have completely gone over the hour mark, and we thank you.
Hey, I'm the one being rude with the guests. I'm the one that's being rude with the guests, so I appreciate you stepping in.
No, this has been great, and I want to thank the folks. I think are going. I've seen people have gone to my website. I'm getting the alerts on my phone, so thank y'all if you went to the website already. That's really cool. Thank you.
I didn't say this in the beginning, but any proceeds or sales during the show that you get, there's a kickback for all of those sales. I didn't say that in the beginning, but I'm saying it now.
Oh, wow, okay. you be giving out blessings and gifts and stuff on this show.
Right. We give them out and then we take them right back. You know, if you get sales, we want a part of the sales.
It's called stimulating the economy.
There you go. There you go.
I'm here. All right. I love it. I appreciate y'all having me. This was fun.
Yes, ma'am. And could you give all of your information one more time so our viewers can know where to find you?
Okay, I am Eunice Elliott on all social media platforms. My website is euniceelliott.com. I'm Eunice Elliott on YouTube. If you don't remember Eunice Elliott, you can just go to Google, type in, bloop, bloop. It will usually say, did you mean Eunice Elliott? And just say yes. But I'm very easy to find.
Okay, great. Well, it's been such a great night. And actually, I'm getting sleepy. I should have took a nap like you, sis, and I did not.
I'm set for 6:30 p.m., y'all. Okay.
Yes, I've been up since 5 a.m. and I have a little boy who I have to make sure is down now. But I definitely appreciate you for coming on Strick City tonight. And Strick, per usual, I definitely appreciate you for allowing me to be the co-host of this excellent show. I have been encouraged, I have been motivated. And Miss Eunice, we need to talk more, sis. We got a few things in common with our thespianism, not
Okay.
lesbianism, but thespianism.
Lesbianism.
Yes, it's some more things. And we're going to get these books out of me and Strick eventually.
Gotta get them out. Write them.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Strick, what's up? Go ahead, do your thing.
Hey, listen, y'all, hold what you got, ladies. I have been blown away today. So very much encouraged by the conversation with Miss Eunice Elliott. She dropped a couple of bombs on us. Please, everybody, like TMZ, she has a boyfriend. You need to know that, okay? So when she talking about, she says she's still single, but there's a dude out there. So I have for Thursday another guest. James P. J. Spraggins. He is a drummer, musician, and an all-around cool guy. He's going to be on the show, and I don't want you to miss it because he has a new song coming out. We're going to get a chance to talk about his journey in the music business and his new song and all the technology that he uses to produce his music. So y'all know what you got. Your boy DJ Strick right here. This is Strick City Live.
I'm just talking.